is the end of the world as we know it. And we're seeing it live on social media. I bet you feel it. I bet you feel the overwhelm. The part of you that's like, I don't know what's true anymore. And those are great questions to be pondering. What is the truth? Who's got the truth? And where is it coming from? And the truth is, where your heart breaks, there is a glimmer of hope. If you follow the heartbreak, you're going to find where the truth is. Not so much fear, right? If fear is the first thing that gets you, it's usually going to take you in the wrong direction. And a lot of the things we're seeing that are causing separation on our planet right now are induced by fear. Fear that takes us into anger. But what I really would like to talk about is what's been weighing heavy on my heart. As many of you might know at this point, there's been a big situation going on in the world. This whole genocide happening to Palestinians is a serious issue. And I understand that there are some people who see that as a necessary evil, that it's necessary to create a state of peace in Israel. And I also see that most of what I've been able to feel into, to see, to witness, is that the greatest injustice right now is happening to the Palestinian people. Has been happening for 75 years. Like, there's no denying it. It's documented. And without getting too deep into details, the point is, when people are being massacred in the name of peace, we've lost peace. We're not going to get to peace. There's no peace there. There's no way that there is peace when we drop weapons of mass destruction and destroy entire populations, entire neighborhoods, entire family lines for some perceived peace. And you know, what's really been frustrating is that I have many Israeli friends. And, you know, in the beginning of this issue, which at this time is being called as October 7th, a good portion of them were leaning towards defending these actions of war. And I get why. There was a lot of perceived destruction. People lost friends, people lost family in that incident. And my heart goes out to you and to those who were lost. And I know at the core, in your heart, what you want is peace. Because that's what brought us into friendship. That's why we get along. That's why we've been on the same team. But it feels like through the last 9 months, a gap has been created. And that gap has been emotionally driven. I understand that there's a lot of fear in this moment because of the repercussions of what is happening. Because ultimately what has been happening these last 9 months is revealing some of the truths that have been hidden. And one of the main truths there is that for 75 years, the Palestinian people have been oppressed, have been suppressed, have been denied sovereignty, have been denied being able to live their lives the way that they want, to raise their families in a safe environment with the food and the water and the resources that they need to live well. And it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart because if you follow the trail, you can see that everything that has created this Zionist Israeli state, the regime, was always based on separating, on making separation and creating a world that did not acknowledge the plight and the suffering of the Palestinians. And so I'm not going to be a scholar about the subject. I have researched many scholars and gone very deep down that rabbit hole. And at the end of the day, if we want peace, the people of that land who have been there for the last 2,000 years need to be honored, need to be respected. And this is bigger. This is bigger because this is talking about the entire imperialist way of being that has continued to take land and resources from the indigenous people. And, you know, America has done it. The UK has done it. We've been doing it. That's been our history. And we're seeking to move into a brighter future. And part of that is to acknowledge the wrongs of the past. And right now we have in our face, we are facing the wrongs of our past as it relates to that part of the world. And it's not just Palestine. It's also the injustices that have been perpetuated in Africa, the injustices that have been perpetuated in Latin America, in all of the third world countries who have been exploited for their resources, who have been made less than. We've made those people who live there, who rightfully own those resources, or at least have equal say on how these resources are used because they live there, we have made them less than in order for corporations and nation states who have more power and weapons and influence to take over. And if we can't see that, we're never going to actually get to the issue. And that's what we're seeing right now. It's in your face if you choose to look. And, you know, this brings us to America. This is where I was raised. I lived in Chicago for the majority of my life. I was born in Columbia. When I left Columbia, Columbia was in a very precarious place because of the instability caused by national corporations. And what really is becoming very clear, I mean, we knew this for a while, but we're in it. 2024, election year. If you go into the astrology of it, which is very deep, is that we are being faced with the end of the empire. All the empire is collapsing, or at least in the final phases of its program. And it was always said from everyone through history and in astrology that when we get to that point, we would see a lot of what we're seeing now, which are unnecessary wars. We are seeing what the imperialist power over structures will do to maintain power. And what we're seeing is that they will do whatever it takes. They will use their entire arsenal. They will use their weapons, which have been the physical weapons, the bombs, the armies, as well as the media, which has also been a weapon to subjugate people, to control people, to program people. And so right now we're in a time where we have to really discern where is the truth. And if you're here for the truth, which is love. Love is ultimately the truth. Having a peaceful world where we get along is the truth. Having a world where we have systems that support us to get along to understand each other, to live together, is the truth, is the world we want ultimately. And so when I connect this to shamanism, 16 years ago, I was initiated onto the shamanic path. 16 years ago, when the shamanic path came into my life, I was in the world doing the things. I was in accounting and finance. I had a nightlife promotion company with a friend of mine. And, just doing the things that you need to do to get along in this society and make something of yourself. And the thing is, that took me far away from what was needed at this time. And it all collapsed. And for me internally, it kind of feels like what it's looking like outside in the world right now, where I didn't know, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do, God? The things we used to do, they don't work anymore. What to do? And in that space is where I found shamanism. And one of the beauties of that path is that it allowed me to access the truth. It allowed me to access love. Not just love for myself, not just love for humanity, for the people in my life, for this beautiful network of our human family, but also the network of all the living beings, the trees and the animals and the amazing Mother Earth who gives us everything. And from there, I got deeper to the truth of how can we get along. I mean, the natural world at some level gets along. It is in a constant state of synergy, finding balance and living together. You don't see any species really trying to take over the entire planet and trying to take everything from every other species like humanity has been doing. And this has been our fall from grace. And so what I really find that shamanism brought the message to me was to bring her children back to the garden, to get out of this individuation where we're all separate and we need to be afraid of each other and whoever has the most power is the winner, to if we help others win, if we win together, we all win, right? A win-win scenario is the only way to move forward. A scenario where we care about other people's suffering as much as we care about our own, to find the ways to heal and to do it for ourselves, for our family, for our lineage, and for those that come after us, is the way. It's the way of nature. It's the way of evolution. If we are going to live on this planet any longer, we must wake up. And whether it was COVID, or it was Palestine, or everything going on in Africa, or the fact that the fish are dying, and the bees are dying, and that there is much more stronger weather patterns that are causing disruption on the planet, all of this are signs for us to wake up. And at the minimum, that part of you that feels uncomfortable, like something is off, like this constant stress, this system that has you in a constant stress pattern because you're not really living what you came here for, you're living for someone else, for your boss, or for some perceived thing in the future where maybe you'll have enough money to do nothing. When you didn't come to this planet to do nothing. You came to this planet to do something. Your soul has something to do. And for me, my soul is here for people. So when I see what's happening in Palestine, it breaks my heart. When I see not only, which is the biggest break heart because people are actually dying while we're here arguing who's right and who's wrong. They're dying, they're suffering, they're in a very bad place. That isn't only the thing. On top of that, I see it in the society. I see it in these divisions where we come to argue. What are we arguing about? What are you actually arguing about? What are you so afraid of? Just in that one scenario of Palestine, what are we afraid of when we try to say that we should not talk about it? when we try to say that it doesn't matter or that it matters more to bring security to Israel. What many of the scholars I've seen have alluded and pointed to is the fact that the Jewish people, the Jewish religion, actually is one of love. And I'm so grateful to be able to have connected and to learn from those scholars who are actually speaking the truth. Go find them, they're there. Speaking the truth that there was a time when Palestine was Palestinian and that Israel, and Jewish people, Catholic and Christian people, Muslim people, they all lived together. That's the only way that place will ever find peace, to live together, because you all belong there. All three belong there. And if we do things to take one of them out, we are desecrating the land. We're desecrating the purpose of any of those three religions, which was at its core love and peace and treating our brother, our neighbor, the way we want to be treated. And part of the reason that it's been difficult these 9 months is because of holding it in. And it wasn't just holding it in because I didn't want to hurt people or get into arguments. It was also because I wanted to really feel it all. I wanted to feel, what is the truth here? Not just feel it, but go look for it. What is the truth? What is the real truth? Why has this been happening? Where did this start? Why is it being perpetuated? Who does it benefit? That's what you should ask. Who does it benefit to keep this war going? Who does it benefit? Is it benefiting the people? Or is it benefiting powers that are interested parties who have something to invest billions of dollars in this war? Is it serving all of us coming back together and finding solutions and working together as a human family that know that we're here together? Or is it serving separation, individuation, hatred, and fear? And so that, at the end of the day, is what, for me, is the most important thing about this moment. Everything that we're going to feel from this moment on, that we've been feeling for the last several years, is speaking to this core issue. And we can go deeper philosophically, but the core issue, is it bringing us together or is it separating us? Is it going towards love and understanding and healing, or is it going towards hatred, separation, and dis-ease? And so my heart deeply goes to those who are suffering right now. My heart deeply goes to those who are suffering physically from this unnecessary war. And my heart goes out to all of us who are lost in the sauce, lost in the confusion, lost in this perceived complexity of the issue, because it's not that complex. Do the homework. Look at what's been happening. And my heart is really aching right now for what's going to happen in America. It's aching, we got some anxiety, and it's got some excitement, because we're on the verge of a revolution, of a deep, deep awakening. Because I don't know if you saw the last presidential debate, but it was a shit show. Any way that you slice it, whether you are for the blue or the red, it was awful. And we can be brainwashed by either side, thinking this is my team and that's my team, and try to make reasons for why that team is better, why this team is better. But they're just two wings of the same creature, which is democracy in America, a capitalistic industrial machine that has lost touch with its people, at least since the assassination of JFK, which if you look down that rabbit hole, you'll see that a lot of the same people who are causing the problems right now and perpetuating war right now and separation right now were, in fact, connected and part of the assassination of JFK. So, for the truth speakers, the truth seekers, I'm talking to you. Get your mind right. Go to the right place. There ain't a right and a left. It's one democracy. And they've been playing a theater here trying to take our power away and polarize us. It doesn't work anymore. It has stopped working. When they stopped listening to the people and put all of their efforts to separate people, it stopped working. So the question is, what are we going to do? Are we going to keep doing it? Are we going to let them create a civil war around the entire nation? Because we are on the verge of World War III on a global scale. And we are on the verge of a civil war in America. Like, literally. Those are facts. Are we willing to let it get to that point? Being represented by two wings that no longer care and haven't cared about us for way too long? That's the real question. Or are we going to go to the people? Are we going to go back to our people and get the people together to do what's right? And what does it take? It takes one person. One person to say, this is what's right, and that's not right anymore. And I'm here to say, it ain't right. It's not right what we've been doing. It's not right what's happening in Palestine. It is not right what is happening in our democracy. It's not right. I'm here to find what is right. I know that what's right is in the heart. I know that what's right is with the people. That's who I stand for. That's who I am here for. That's what my shamanic path has brought me to bring people in a circle, to bring people from all parts of the world into a circle, into community, into a space of mutual love, appreciation, and respect, and honoring that everybody has something to give. Everybody has inherent worthiness and value, and it isn't a number on your social security card or your taxpayer ID. It isn't what your number is in your bank account or what title you have. It's that you're human, that you're angel, and that you are a emissary of God. You are divine, and you have inherent beauty, inherent value. So how do we value the beauty of our fellow humans and of ourselves? Ultimately, it starts with ourselves. We need to value ourselves, our time, and our attention, and stop putting attention on these things that divide us and separate us and distract us, and also are the ones that are creating the stress, that are creating these artificial demands on our life force energy, rather than allowing us to focus on what's most important, which is building ourselves up, building our families, building our communities, building a world that is safe for all children, for all women, for all men, for all humans, for all animals, for all trees, for all living beings. This is what we're here for. This is what I stand for, and this is who I'm calling forward. So, I love you, and I'm here.